We all know the camera we're about to talk about today, yes. This is the Canon EOS R7, a camera that has sparked a lot of conversations in the photography and videography world since its release back in 2022. But the real question is the Canon EOS R7 still a good camera to buy in 2025? And will it hold its ground going into 2026? Well, I'm here to break it all down for you. My history with the Canon EOS R7, let me rewind a little bit. I first got my hands on the Canon EOS R7 in late 2022, right before Christmas. At that time, I was just transitioning from Canon's DSLR world, specifically from cameras like the Canon 90D and Canon 850D, into the world of mirrorless. And let me tell you, the leap felt massive. From image quality to speed to overall handling, the R7 felt like a serious step up, not just as a casual tool for family photos or travel, but as a legit workhorse for hybrid creators. I stuck with the R7 for several months, until March 2023 when I made the jump to the Sony a7 IV. Now, don't get me wrong, the Sony a7 IV is an incredible camera, and arguably one of the most well-rounded full-frame hybrids out there. But there are still things about the R7 that made me appreciate it deeply. In fact, now in 2025, after trying a variety of cameras from Canon, Sony, and Nikon, I feel compelled to revisit the R7 and give it a fresh, updated review in light of everything that's changed. The lens problem, and how it changed when the Canon EOS R7 launched. Its biggest weakness wasn't the camera body itself, it was the lens ecosystem. Canon had locked down the RF mount in such a way that third-party manufacturers like Sigma and Tamron couldn't easily produce lenses for it. This meant that if you wanted to build a professional or even semi-professional setup with the R7, you were forced into buying Canon's official RF lenses, which were, and still are, incredibly expensive. We're talking thousands of dollars for quality glass. For me, as a budget-conscious creator at the time, this was a deal-breaker. It was the main reason I moved to Sony, because Sony's system had a huge advantage: third-party lenses. Companies like Sigma, Tamron, and Viltrox were creating affordable, high-quality glass for Sony's E-mount. But fast forward to today, 2025, and the story is very different. Sigma has officially started rolling out Canon RFS lenses for crop sensor RF mount cameras like the R7, and this changes everything. Sigma lenses for Canon R7 in 2025, here's where things get exciting. Sigma has announced and released several lenses for Canon's RFS system, and they've filled in some of the biggest gaps that early R7 adopters were frustrated about. Sigma 18 to 50mm f2.8 Contemporary. This lens is a game changer. It's compact, lightweight, relatively affordable, and gives you a constant f2.8 aperture across the zoom range. Perfect for everyday use, travel, and even YouTube content creation. Sigma 10 18mm f2.8 Contemporary. This one is huge for vloggers. It's wide, sharp, and lets you hold the camera at arm's length while still fitting your entire environment into the frame. A proper wide-angle option was sorely missing before. Sigma 1750mm f1.8. DCDN Art. This is the spiritual successor to the legendary Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8 art lens that so many filmmakers adored. Now optimized for Canon RFS mount, it offers stunning sharpness and creamy bokeh. What's missing? A proper telephoto zoom like a Sigma 50 150mm f2.8. But honestly, even without it, we're in a much better place than we were a year or two ago. The bottom line here, with these Sigma lenses, the Canon EOS R7 is finally unleashed. It's no longer held back by an overpriced, limited lens selection. Canon EOS R7 specs in 2025. Still relevant? Let's revisit the specs, because sometimes when we look back at a 3-year-old camera, the specs can feel outdated. But surprisingly, the Canon EOS R7 still holds up very well in 2025, 32.5 megapixel APS-C sensor, one of the highest resolution APS-C sensors on the market. Fantastic for photographers who want detail, cropping flexibility, and large prints. FPS with mechanical shutter, 30 FPS with electronic shutter. This is blazing fast. Sports photographers, wildlife shooters, and even event shooters will not miss a moment with this kind of speed. K oversampled 4K video. This is where the R7 shines for video creators. Instead of just line skipping, the camera takes all that 7K resolution and downsamples it into crisp, detailed 4K. The footage looks sharp, cinematic, and professional 4K 60 FPS, and 1080p 120fps slow motion. Still competitive in 2025, though some newer cameras are pushing into 6K and 8K recording territory. But honestly, most content creators are still working in 4K, and this looks fantastic. C-Log 3 Color Profile gives you tremendous flexibility for color grading and post-production. Pair it with a good LUT and you'll get cinematic results. IBIS, not perfect, but solid. Helps smooth out handheld footage, especially when vlogging or walking shots. So, is the Canon EOS R7 underpowered in 2025? Not at all. It still stands tall among today's best mirrorless cameras for content creators. Who is the Canon EOS R7 for in 2025? Now let's answer the big question. Who should buy the Canon EOS R7 today? Beginner creators. Looking to step up. If you've been using something like a Canon R50, R10, or even an older DSLR like the Canon 90D, the R7 will feel like a huge upgrade. It's fast, sharp, and versatile. Hybrid shooters. If you want one camera that can handle both high-resolution photography and professional quality video, this is a solid option. YouTubers and content creators. With the Sigma lenses now available, this is one of the best YouTube camera setups in 2025, without spending full-frame money. Travel and wildlife. Photographers. That crop factor paired with high resolution and fast burst speeds makes it perfect for birding, safaris, or sports. Should you wait for the Canon EOS R7 Mark II? This is the question a lot of people have right now. The Canon EOS R7 came out in 2022. We're in 2025. By Canon's usual release cycle, a Canon EOS R7 Mark II could very well be around the corner in late 2025 or early 2026. Rumors suggest that the Mark II might come with a stacked APS-C sensor for even faster readout and reduced rolling shutter, possibly 8K video options, improved autofocus AI subject detection, better IBIS performance. If you're someone who always wants the latest and greatest, it might make sense to wait. But here's the truth. The current Canon EOS R7 is already more than enough for 90% of creators. Unless you absolutely need cutting-edge features, the R7 is still a fantastic choice today. Canon R7 versus Sony a6-700 versus Nikon Z50. 2 to give you perspective. Let's quickly compare the R7 with its main rivals in 2025, Sony a6-700, Sony's APS-C flagship. Has great autofocus and excellent lens options. But ergonomically, Canon feels better to many people, and Canon's color science is more beginner-friendly. Nikon Z52, solid camera, great handling, but the Nikon ZDX lens lineup is still limited compared to what Canon plus Sigma now offer. Canon EOS R7 still wins in terms of balance between performance, ecosystem, and price, especially now that Sigma has joined the RF party. Final verdict. Should you buy the Canon EOS R7 in 2025? Here's my honest take. If you're a beginner stepping into the world of professional cameras, if you're a YouTuber who wants sharp 4K video, if you're a photographer who shoots sports, wildlife, or events, the Canon EOS R7 is still a fantastic choice in 2025 and going into 2026. With Sigma's affordable lenses now available, the R7 has transformed from a limited lens-starved body into a complete system. For under $2,000, you can have a professional-grade kit that will last you years.